What up? Welcome to Dub Nation. I love that music. It just gets me pumped. Your hub for everything Utah Warriors of Major League Rugby. It is Wednesday, March 10th, 2021. It is our season preview show. Let's go. We're live on the Utah Warriors Facebook and Twitter accounts and on demand on KSLSports.com, KSL Sports app, and the KSL TV app. Give us a like, share the show, follow the Warriors on social media. If you have a comment, fire away. We'll try and get to some of those. We also have trivia coming up, so stay with us. We're going to give away 2 tickets to the home opener on March 27th against Toronto, so wait for that. Plus, we have a special announcement coming up. I'm Jarom Jordan alongside Banksy. And Banksy, man, you are looking good today. You're well lit. You got the logo in the monitor. Look at this.
I had to come into my office instead of doing this from my my home studio, so it's a whole new world and connectivity here on the Banksy end of the Dub Nation broadcast today.
And now that we're weekly through when the Warriors win the championship, right, in August.
Yes, amen.
We are stoked. Okay, so let's start things off right. Let's give you a chance to win some tickets. So, trivia question. We'll tell you who the winner is later in the show. Banksy, what do you have for us today?
So this year is year 4 of Major League Rugby. In year 1, the Warriors played an exhibition match at Rio Tinto Stadium against what MLR team? The first correct answer to get this here on any of our social media platforms. First correct answer, going to win 2 tickets to the home opener March 27th versus the Toronto Arrows. The exhibition match at Rio Tinto Stadium was against who in season 1 of the MLR? And just a little clue for you there as well, or a little fun fact, it is still the highest attended MLR game on record. So it's still the biggest crowd that I believe we've had for any MLR match at Rio Tinto Stadium.
Yes, it's the domestic club record for it.
Yes.
Right? So test matches, that is international teams come in, of course, U.S. and Ireland and New Zealand.
Soldier Field doesn't count. Any of the first team matches. We're talking about club matches at the MLR level, professional club matches, set an attendance record with your Utah Warriors. Dub Nation showed up for that one.
And let's talk about what's happening March 27th. This just came out today. Kimball Kerr, owner, CEO, general manager of the Warriors, announced that in conjunction with the state of Utah, and health officials in Salt Lake County and the health department reunited side-by-side seating available with expanded capacity. It's not going to be full, but it's going to be closer to that. And this is the first sports team in the state of Utah that is getting this many people at a sporting event. And it's going to be, a year and about 15 days since the world felt like it ended. And this is going to be awesome for the home opener against Toronto.
I mean, it was a year ago this week that the world shut down and, the whole 2 weeks to flatten the curve thing and social distance and quarantine and all these new terms were thrown at us and we were just learning how to respond to it. It feels like so much more than a year since we've had live rugby. And now we've had our preseason game and really just kind of, fed the appetite. There was a little entree appetizer for what's to come. Expanded seating. We could absolutely get Zions Bank Stadium rocking for that home opener and give Toronto the welcome that they deserve.
It's going to be awesome. Okay, let's go over the rundown. We'll recap the aforementioned exhibition against Rugby ATL Saturday. Tons to discuss there. Little Rugby 101 to help increase your knowledge of the game. We saw something very unique in Saturday's exhibition. We'll talk to interim head coach Shawn Pittman, who helps us preview the season by looking at the schedule and the roster. It is our season preview show because next week we're in preview mode of the first game of the season, which will be fun, plus some news and notes from around Major League Rugby. So let's continue this by talking about not only the home opener, but a little bit of TV love for the Warriors nationally.
Excited to be able to see this, with the expanded capacity. Now you can see the national sports broadcasts of Major League Rugby on Fox Sports 2, on CBS Sports Network, and of course, locally on the KSL app and the KSL TV, Roku, and all the places that you get your digital sports. We've got some great partnerships for rugby to be able to come home with the fans wherever you are. And I believe is it 4 of our first home games are all going to be broadcast on a national stage. So a lot of big chances to see your Warriors in action, whether they're playing at Austin or whether they're playing here at home or on the road. It doesn't matter where we go. There's plenty of chances for you to keep up with your Warriors.
So basically, if the game is on national television, CBS Sports Network, FS2, or whatnot, that's the way to watch the game. But if it's on a local broadcast, whether it be home or road, that will be via KSL Sports and the KSL TV app. So FYI, that's how it works. Basically, you're going to be able to watch the Warriors every game.
So get the KSL TV app. You can broadcast that directly to your TV. That doesn't mean you have to watch it on your phone. You can actually, if you've got a smart TV, share the game in full size, in high definition, right to your TV and be able to enjoy Warriors rugby.
And that happened Saturday. Let's talk about it now with the Rugby ATL recap, the one and only exhibition. Rugby ATL wins 15-13. This was a game that the Warriors controlled for the majority of the game. In fact, it's kind of 13-5 at like the 69th minute. Really impressive performance from the Warriors. It's an exhibition, so a loss isn't as big a deal as the regular season, right? We saw a fun lineup. We saw Paul Mullen just absolutely dominate. Danny Giannoscoli, 3 for 3 as the fly half and kicker, 8 points. And I don't even know how to say his name, but Marno Redden-Lingheis.
Redden-Lingheis.
Yeah, not a big fan personally after watching this game. Little interesting play with Bailey Wilson, and then it just bowls over Michael Baska. But in the end, I thought the Warriors were impressive here. We learned some things. We saw a lineup that was probably mostly of what we'll see in the opener. We'll talk to Shawn Pittman about that, but this was a good showing for the Warriors.
I thought it was a great outing. You could tell there were some early season jitters. Some guys haven't quite got their hands yet. Things haven't quite got up to speed yet. It was great to see the Warriors built on what they did, starting with last year's shortened season and what was a domination in probably the first 50, 60 minutes of that forward pack. And Paul Mullen led the way with a clinic at the tight head prop side. I mean, it was almost hard to watch because you knew what was going to happen when the scrum came. I mean, sitting in the booth, you could watch, and the ref said, "Guys, are we going to do this again?" And Paul would just kind of shrug his shoulders and be like, "I'm doing what I'm supposed to do." It's the duty of the tight head prop and his opposing loose head when they come together to hold up the scrum, and that goes for both sides. Now, as the tight head prop, you want to put your shoulder when you engage, and that loose head prop's head comes right in. You want to put your shoulder right on the back of his neck and basically push his chin down to his knees. And Mullen able to just dominate him physically, winning penalty after penalty. The first score for the Utah Warriors was that penalty try with a big shove, getting that ATL pack going backwards. After the 60th minute, we saw some of the flash of the hands. Utah select standout and now first team contract winner right there. You see Joe Mano on the outside, had a fantastic game on the wing. We saw how exciting he could really be. And the physicality of this team was unbelievable, led by Bailey Wilson, and Tuveri Bungakoto was an absolute beast. You see that with the big tackle there and the big shoulder in. The guy's just running all over the field. There were flashes from Jared Whippy of what we've seen Josh Whippy from what we've seen in the past. He was in the right place at the right time when the ball came to his side of the field. There were so many highlights to this match. Lance Williams playing at the number 8, playing out of position, really the emotional leader of this team through the whole game. It was just fun rugby to watch as a fan in the stands and to be able to broadcast the game. There's a lot to be excited from this Utah Warriors squad with the names that are still in the sheds that haven't been called yet. This is a really good team that showed it on Saturday against what might be one of the better conditioned and coached teams in MLR. And we're way deeper than what we showed. And it should be a really exciting thing for fans to get ready for as we look towards the home opener.
Yeah, it was good to have the Missile back in town. Connor Cook and Harley Davidson over from Glendale were there. There was some big names in the league, right? Harley Davidson, maybe the best name in the league. That's awesome.
Name-wise, absolutely. You could tell the Missile came to play. Jeremy looked like he was in fantastic shape and kind of put that chip on his shoulder. He was all over the field for that back line. And we knew Rugby ATL had speed in buckets full with Harley Davidson and the Missile on both sides of the wings. And they were able to capitalize on that at the end of the game. And a lot of that was led by, Jeremy Misai-Legalu. So, tip of the hat to him. Yeah. But at that point, we're 5 or 6 subs in. You've got guys that are just looking for minutes getting on the field. Franco went out on a sub. We had Paul Mullins come out. We saw good minutes from Gus McClellan. We saw good minutes from Alex Tucci. It was really a good match. And this score could have gone the other way in a hurry you saw the drop from Michael Baska there on the run through. He ran such great lines and was such a good little general, exactly what you would want to see from your number 9. He was getting his forwards in the right place. He was screaming on defense. He was inserting into the line where there was a gap. He was playing physically. Just unlucky really to drop a couple of balls that could have been tries and made a big difference on the scoreboard in the end. The center combination, I don't think we really got to see a whole lot from, with Tyler Fisher being on the outside of Calvin Whiting. But, there were so many highlights to this game that we should be excited for, ignoring completely what the final score was. Obviously, we'd love to win. You always want to see a win, right, Dub Nation? But focus on the positives here. It was just a preseason game, and we are building to something great and hopefully picking up in that season opener where we left off.
Fun to see Bailey Wilson, the young guy. He's still finishing classes at Utah Valley. He's in, year 2 or 3 with the Warriors? He got the captain's armband. I thought that was pretty big.
That was picked by the guys in the sheds. He's not a guy that says a lot. He's not a real wordy guy. I liken him to an Alan Wynne Jones from Wales. He's a physical, absolutely dominant type of performer. And when he speaks, the guys listen. And thankfully, when he speaks, he's usually saying the right thing, too. So I think that's a big nod to his maturity and his growth in that locker room, getting the captain's armband there from the boys.
Yeah, Rugby ATL wins 15-13, and now we prepare for next week. And the Utah Warriors, home opener coming up the 27th, which is going to be exciting. But that first game is at Austin. And then it's back home against Toronto, aka the Canadian All-Star team, which we like to joke around with, right? And this is going to be fun. We mentioned it, Banksy, but side-by-side seating. Are you kidding me? That's going to be awesome.
Expanded capacity for the Canadian National B-side. Come on out, Dub Nation. Saturday, March 27th. This is your chance to get your tickets. Side-by-side seating. I think we can have up to 70-75% of capacity at Zions Bank Stadium. If you were on the can't wait list, you've probably already been contacted. Check your inbox. Otherwise, you're going to be contacted soon about picking up those tickets. 801-477-7652 or visit warriorsrugby.com and get more about your tickets and the opening of Zions Bank Stadium to rugby fans and live sports in Utah. We're leading the way, baby.
Love it. Okay, we want to reiterate our trivia question. If you missed it, we're giving out 2 tickets to this game. In year 1, the Warriors played an exhibition in Rio Tinto Stadium a couple years ago. Which MLR team did they play? Go ahead and respond to us, and we'll get a winner, which we will announce later. 2 tickets to that first game.
Should I feed you another fun fact with that? I believe our very own assistant coach, Sean Davies, played in that match against us as the opposition scrum half. So
yes, he did.
That should be another clue for you where old Shawnee was as he played his career. In year 1, the Warriors played that exhibition match at Rio Tinto Stadium against what MLR team, and our very own Sean Davies in the opposition.
Okay, a little Rugby 101 time. We'll try and teach you the game a little bit through what happens this season. All right, if you're new to the game, let's discuss for a moment the oddity that happened. We had a blocked conversion Saturday. That was different. So you get the PAT, if you will, like in football, it's where 2 points perpendicular to where the Trias scored, and then Mikey Teo comes in and blocks this.
So the opposition has a chance. Once the kicker starts his move towards the ball and his kick, you can actually run down the ball and try and block it. And this is just rugby IQ from Mikey Teo. He slow played it like he wasn't going to make the charge out. The kicker took his time, and he bolted as soon as that first move was made and got his hands on the kick and denied the 2 points there. So great heads-up rugby from Mikey Teo.
That was cool. So that's a little rugby 101. You have a conversion, and you can block it, which is pretty fun. Okay, let's bring in the interim head coach of the Utah Warriors this season, Shawn Pittman. We've had him on the show before. He's one of our favorites, and he is getting ready to lead this team into the regular season, starting with Austin next week and then Toronto at home, as we mentioned. And Shawn Pittman now joins us on Dub Nation as we preview the season and recap a little bit of the Rugby ATL exhibition. Shawn, how you doing, man? I think you're muted, which is no one can mute Shawn Pittman except Shawn Pittman.
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
That's great. So we were just talking about the exhibition and how, yes, you want to win, but you just want to get better, right? So how did you feel it went against Rugby ATL Saturday?
I think the big thing is, Shawn and myself and Matt had a few outcomes that we were kind of driving for, and I think we achieved them. I mean, the outcome was not really the outcome in terms of results wasn't our goal. If it came, it came. But we really wanted to see how our pitch management was, how our set piece was, as well as just see if we needed to focus and dial in anything over the next 2 weeks after the match. So there's a couple things we need to really address. But, man, overall, I cannot express how proud and how excited I am for the season, to be completely honest. It is insane to see, especially some of the boys coming off injuries from last year. Example, and his ability to make just outrageous offloads. And some boys that have come off, from college, like Danny G and a few other guys. Like I'm just really excited for the year, and I'm really excited for the first match next week.
How impressive was Danny G? Let's go right to the old cheesesteak himself. To be able to marshal that team around the field, and you saw flashes of his creativity. He was able to use his head and put his team in the right position. Didn't see a ton of ball, but we saw moments where he used his boot with the wind to try and put the team in the right place. A guy that came up through the select side, you got to be excited about his performance with the first team, right?
Amazingly. I think Brandon Sparks made an amazing draft pick there. Picking someone out of Division III college, and him showing up and be able to instantly perform for us is, man, that's a quality pick. And I can't, seriously, some of the kicks that he was putting in was world class from 22 to 22, even with some, a little bit of wind, little bit of wind help. But honestly, the kid he's amazing. And I think I would be really shocked if he doesn't represent at a higher level at one stage in his life.
How close was the lineup that you threw out to what you want to throw out in the regular season?
We're probably missing maybe four guys, 4 or 5-ish, depending on, just how people are performing during the week, but maybe around there. So we're excited to see what happens next week when we get our strongest roster possible, and we're able to set that in front of another team that has a quite a strong roster in Austin. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I mean, I think we're deep at every single position here. Talk about the addition of Paul Mullen and his performance in that front row. I love the front row that we had start with Paul at the tight head, 2 at the hooker, and then Franco over at the loose head side. When the subs came in and Gus and Tucci came in, that could have been a starting front row from last year. The quality is that deep.
Yeah, no, man, we have one of the deepest front rows in the league. And, and speaking to other teams, I mean, they're still searching for some young American props, that are floating about. I mean, and we have Elijah Hayes, who's the youngest.
We have Ollie Khalifi, who's still getting healthy, who's there.
Yeah, Ollie, Elijah. We got Tucci, who makes a massive impact off the bench. I mean, you got Angus. Angus, was our starting prop. He's been the starting prop for the last 3 years. And I'm glad we have someone like Paul and Angus to battle week in and week out for a starting spot.
Talk
I mean,
about
I'm
Paul's
pretty excited
performance
about
at that tight head side. I mean, you want to talk about a clinic for front row props to watch. It was really a dismantling of the front row through the first 45 to 55 minutes of that match.
Yeah, no, Paul. I mean, Paul's Paul. I mean, that's why he's an international prop. I mean, and that's why he gets paid the big bucks. He's first of all, he's an amazing guy. He's great for our team, but the man is just so impressive at scrum time, and it's not just because he's freakishly strong or he can scrummage really well. It's because he understands what the pitchers are that the refs are looking for. So he can manipulate things at times to make him look very positive for himself.
Well, and knowing that the loose head's arm was extended, knowing that the referees are looking for that bent arm and keeping it up, he was able to apply the pressure in all the right spots. And I think he won no less than 6 penalties for the Warriors.
I stopped counting after a couple, to be completely honest.
I stopped counting at a half dozen, and I mean, it was a flash of his class, and I think things we can look forward to. It was an absolute great pickup from the locker room. So congratulations to you and all the coaches for putting it all together. I know it's been a bit of a whirlwind with all of the changes that have gone on, but I think and credit to Sean Davies as well, that what you guys were able to put together for that opening match was unbelievable.
Man, I can't credit Sean Davies enough. I mean, the man is impressive. The guy doesn't have, a stop button in him. And second, he's just super knowledgeable, and I'm very thankful that he's the assistant coach that I get to work with. And I was super thankful to work with him as both assistant coaches. So it's nice for us to be able to lean on each other and help each other out a lot.
Okay, and for those who are interested, Paul actually bought his car that he's driving off of former BYU safety Diane Gunwolaku randomly. So there's this sports connection. And then I was talking to him about Diane. I was like, "You bought Diane's car? Diane's amazing." So we started talking. He starts watching Diane's highlights. He's like, "Diane was unbelievable." So, anyways, he's connecting by buying Diane's car. Anyway, okay, season preview show. So let's talk about the roster. Obviously, a couple guys don't end up making it, visas or whatever. How do you feel about what you have put together, which includes a lot of good players from last year, guys coming off injuries, but also some real additions through free agency, of course, with Paul Mullen, Mikey Teo, and others, and the draft pick?
I feel very positive about this squad. I mean, first of all, the guys, all of them are amazing. We haven't had any issues with anybody. And you usually expect that by week 4. There's someone that pops up. You're like, maybe we got to talk to him about some stuff. But right now, we're sitting in an amazing position culturally, and the boys they just work for each other and they like to have fun. Playing wise, we've picked up some amazing talent in Mikey Teo, in Paul, in Ollie. Keeping Sama, Ratu, and then again gaining Danny, Cliven and Derek Ellingson. So we got some depth, and it's everywhere. It's not just in 1 or 2 spots. And and I'm leaving out a lot of our one of our strongest points is our back row. I mean, you can see it from the weekend where they were just smashing people.
And I was going to ask you where you thought we were the deepest, because we're international 2 guys deep at the front row. But when you talk about the second row with Austin Fortine and Matt Jensen looked great in the second row, but then you can throw Yuri Van Buren in the mix. You got Thomas Tuivasa there. You got Lance Williams, who played incredibly well. And there's probably 4 guys behind them at that level. Yeah. Then you look at your back row and you look at who can play 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 7 different guys that can play those 5 positions. So where do you think you're the deepest, Coach?
Gosh, that's tough. I think front row overall, yes, we're the deepest. But and our back row, I get our front row and back row, we're very deep in those positions. And at 9, I mean, we have some class 9s. Matt Kolbaska, a couple of those kicks are world class that he had. His support lines during the game. We got Fraser Hirsch coming off the bench, Canadian 7s international, been in the the mix with the Canada 15s, and we're pretty excited to have him. And then you start to think about the local guys, which is Danny Christensen and Yuri Yasin. And so and Danny, he's in our leadership group, and man, the man is the ultimate professional.
He's just got a big kid haircut, so he's.
I know that's true. Actually, he cuts hair.
I'm gonna miss the flat. We've got a hair thing going on this team for having 2 bald coaches. We may have some of the best hair in Major League Rugby. And Danny's going the other way with the professional haircut. I think he's letting the squad down a bit there.
Oh, we're talking about hair. My daughter was at the game, and my wife was like, "Oh, can you see Dad?" And she's like, my daughter instantly finds me because she knew that, like, the shiny head. So she just finds me out of, like, the blue, and she's like, yeah, my wife was telling me about that, and it was just hilarious.
And there's Thomas Tuavow, and then Derek Ellingson are kind of going with this mullet thing, which they may get fined by the team for that kind of haircut. I don't know, but
I don't think so. I don't think, not in the culture of Utah. You can't do that.
And Lance Williams has got the big Waimea waterfall that he's been rocking for years.
So good. It's so good.
Mikey Tails got the twin Viking braids going all the way down the middle of his back. There's some great hair on this team. So
first team all hair. We're gonna win the ship and win the hair ship. So yeah, that's great. Okay, so go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
No. I was going to make a joke about Joe. You got Josh Whippy, and you got Joe Mano as well with the hair, with the haircut. So like
Whippy's is getting there. Whippy could be a sleeper for hair of the year. I mean, if he continues to play the way he played, putting himself in the right position on that side, he didn't see a ton of action on his side of the field. Mm-hmm. But when you saw that flash, and then he's doing this, and that thing is flopping back and forth, and you really got a flash of that old Josh Whippy that we're used to seeing before his unfortunate accident. He looks to be fully recovered from injury, and he could play anywhere across that back 3 for you, Coach.
Yeah, no, I very much agree. And, we're even looking at playing him at times at center. So we'll see what happens throughout the season.
Little sneaker, maybe Whippy in the centers. I like it.
Okay. I like it.
Check him out at 13.
Okay, let's talk about the schedule. So obviously you have 10 days from now at Austin. This was a team that in years prior, especially last year, was like, hey, that's probably a win. That's not the case this year. Toronto, we call them the Canadian B-side, on March 27th at home. And then you're going to play 16 games total in 18 weeks. This is going to be fun. What do you think of how this schedule stacks up, Sean?
Well, I think the great thing is that we have a ton of games, and I think that's what American rugby really needs. First, as development for our players, but as well as just getting the game out there. That's what we need. The season is long, and I don't think it's going to be tough for players that haven't played this length of a season in 2.5 years. So that's going to be a challenge, in keeping everybody focused and driving towards a single goal. But the way that we've built it out is we're just going week by week. That's it. Let's just focus on this week. Let's focus on the next one. Once we get through this one, we'll focus on the next one. So, that's the kind of the way that we're thinking of it. But I'm really looking forward to Austin because, they're a completely changed team, new coaching staff, which, from what I've heard is amazing. And they're doing some phenomenal things down there, and they're planning to play some really attractive, Australian style rugby. So, I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be a really good challenge for us. And, it's kind of the benchmark of the season, after this ATL scrimmage. So, we'll see how we go, and then we'll just build for the Canadian B side after that. I mean, those, Toronto's amazing. Like, they have one of the best setups in regards to having the most national team players from a single country on a team. And, they're world class, like in regards to like their prep and stuff like that. I know some other coaches really personally, like Aaron Carpenter and stuff like that, and a couple other guys. So, they got their stuff together.
Do you think it's going to be tough for them playing on the road in Atlanta through these games to be able to make COVID protocols and, being away from home?
Well, I think it's something that's going to be very characteristic for what Canada has. Like they're all probably going to very much buy in to what Canada has done, and in regards to COVID, and it might be challenging being away from family. I think that might be a struggle for them, but their plan is to head back at a certain time. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel for them. So hopefully we can. They come here after playing Atlanta, which is always a tough game, as you guys know. They come here with the elevation, and we're able to play the game that we want to play. That attractive brand of high ball and play with a lot of kicks and a lot of counterattack. So.
And that's coming up Saturday, March 27th in the home opener. And we will, of course, preview the matchup with Austin next week. But this wraps up our season preview with Shawn Pittman. Is there anything else you want Dub Nation to know about this team, Shawn?
Gosh, there's so many things to know about them. No, I mean, listen, the players have made a lot of sacrifices in regards to staying inside our bubble and things like that. So I just want to thank them, for the sacrifices they made, and I just want to I just want to wish everybody that comes to our game, I wish they enjoy it, and I hope they enjoy it, and if. I just want us to see rugby come back to America, and we get to play through this whole season, and we just enjoy it, and we get to have a lot of fun.
Well, indeed we will, and we did Saturday, and we will for many Saturdays. Hopefully deep into August 1st. So, Shawn, we appreciate the time, and best of luck.
Yeah, thank you guys for your time.
Okay, that's Shawn Pittman, the head coach of the Utah Warriors. I'm stoked, man. We've talked about the season. We're 10 days away from the start of this. We saw a game on Saturday. I really feel good about the Utah Warriors making the impact on the league. And a reminder, you got to be in the top 2 to make the playoffs. So you got to really be good. And MLR is way better than it was last couple of years. So it's going to be a challenge. But I like the Utah Warriors squad, man.
We've seen exponential growth in the level of play at the Major League Rugby level, the quality of players that are playing in the league, and the mix of domestic players who now have 3 years of really professional experience under their belt and that coaching. I think there is so much more parity in American rugby right now with Major League Rugby. There's no easy games on the schedule. Every match could come down to 3 points, with the quality of the teams and the players on the pitch. It's going to be exciting as you look across that schedule. And it doesn't matter if it's San Diego playing in Vegas or the new LA Guiltinis playing in the LA Coliseum with some big international signings that they have. Or let's not forget that the Seattle Seawolves are still the back-to-back MLR champions. That's still the bar to beat. And championships run through the West right now. And that's where we sit. So we know where we've got to be. And that's got to be top quality rugby for 18 weeks.
And it's going to be a grind, right? 16 in 18. So get ready. But, late July, the playoffs and then the championship game on August 1st. So hoping to be in that one. Okay, news and notes now from around the league. Some big news earlier this week. Matt Guiteau, out of Australia, signs with the LA Guiltinis, joining former Wallabies teammate Adam Ashley Cooper, 1-year deal. He kind of announced his retirement, and then he kind of came out of retirement for this. So LA has got a couple of Australian stars there.
There's still some quality in both of those players. I feel like with all of the turmoil that has happened over the last few years with the Australian national team, that, guys like this really didn't get the chance to shine at the ends of their careers like they would have. And I think this is a great chance for them to come out and show that they are world class rather than just, the stereotype that Australian rugby had become under the last couple of head coaches.
And I think we mentioned it last week, but maybe not. I can't remember. San Diego Legion signed Chris Bauman, so that's a big signing for them as well. And then Rooney, Rugby United New York. Head coach Greg McWilliams, who actually was on the USA staff with Shawn Pittman, has resigned for personal reasons, citing health issues he wanted to attend to with his wife. So hopefully the best works out for Greg McWilliams. Sad to see him have to bounce right before the season. Now Rooney will operate with someone else. Utah Warriors had this, a couple weeks ago, a month ago. And
it's always a tough situation when you lose that leader and that figurehead. We've just experienced it. Thankfully, we have not only the depth on the field, but the depth off the field with our coaching and management staff to have, Davies and Pittman and even Brandon Sparks step in to be able to help with so many of those duties. I imagine, you know, that they're going to rally around each other and circle the wagons, much like we did, and be ready to go, because that's a good Rugby New York team.
Absolutely, and we look forward to the season. Okay, earlier in the show we gave we're giving away 2 tickets to the home opener March 27th against Toronto. You can go to warriorsrugby.com to get your tickets, unless you're the winner and you win our trivia question here.
The answer is the Glendale Raptors. If you were there, congratulations. Julie Winder got those tickets for the home opener. Good job, Julie. Thank you so much for watching the Dub Nation podcast and being here on the show with us. She was probably there at the game because I believe the record was just over 15,000 in attendance. It's still the single season attendance record for a club team in Major League Rugby at Rio Tinto Stadium when the Warriors played the Glendale Raptors.
Well, okay, final thoughts. We'll be back next week. We're going to preview the season opener with the Austin Gilgronis. Not the Giltinis, that's LA, although it's the same ownership-ish group, right, who have made up these names. That's coming up next week, but we're 1 week closer, man.
I'm excited. Rugby is back. Rugby fans, you don't even have to be a fan of any specific team as you look forward to rugby. Learn the sport and come out and join in our culture and what we have, and be there with us Saturday, March 27th. It's opening night, the Warriors home opener at Zions Bank Stadium. We've been approved with health measures for side-by-side seating, expanded capacity. You've got a chance to get your tickets and be there, hopefully, as we see the kickoff of what could be a championship season. Go to warriorsrugby.com and get your details, or you can call the box office at 801-477-7652. Let's pack the stands. Let's get loud for our Warriors. Dub Nation, March 27th. Be ready, baby.
Let's go.
Rugby's back.
That'll do it for us. Like and share this episode of Dub Nation on Facebook and Twitter. Reminder to follow the Utah Warriors on social media throughout the season and on KSL Sports as well. This was our season preview show for Shawn Pittman, Billy the producer, and Banksy. I'm Jarom Jordan. Go Warriors.